Hi friends, welcome to Rita's Paper Motif. I'm glad to welcome you back to my craft table, and I'm glad that you're here with me today. It always feels nice to share my craft with you. So if we haven't met before, I'm Rita from the Paper Motif, your cozy corner for card making and scrapbook ideas, 3D projects, and all kinds of inspiration. Before we get started though, I just wanted to tell you that if you enjoy crafting inspiration, if you enjoy learning how to make cards or scrapbook page designs, feel free to follow me here on Facebook. And just so you don't miss other projects too, you're welcome to watch me on YouTube. And please subscribe there too. And if you hit that notification icon, then you'll be notified each time I upload new content. All right, so what I wanted to also share with you just before we leave, it just occurred to me, is that all of the things that I share, you can definitely find them on the papermotif.com. So that is kind of like my home base, so feel free to go on over and see what's going on here at the Paper Motif. So today I'm diving into this beautiful Ordinary Life Designer Series paper. And I can't wait to show you what I've been creating with it. So we're going to start with a walkthrough of 2 double-page scrapbook page layouts featuring the DSP and a sheet of the new in color cardstock. And then I want to share with you the dies that I use to create them and how everything coordinates together. Then once we've explored all those layouts, then I want to share with you a fun fold card using the DSP, the new in color DSP, the new in color cardstock and the lovely DSP. I'll be sharing how I use the stamp positioner, and so settle in, get cozy, and get a drink. I'm drinking coffee, and let's create together. All right. Also, just so you know, if you're watching live, say hi or tell me where you're watching from if you don't mind. And if you're catching me on the replay, then please type replay just so I know where you're that you're coming back to visit. All right. So this is that beautiful DSP. It is featured in our new Stampin Up catalog. It's on, let's see here, all these lovely DSPs, right? It's featured right here on page 28 of the new annual catalog. And so I did go ahead and get the whole collection as I shared with you before. But I really want to use that beautiful designer series paper. And I also want to use the new in color cardstock. So let's go ahead and begin with this designer series paper. Now you can see I've really cut into it. So I just want to quickly share some of those designs with you. So with our DSP or designer series paper, sometimes it's called special paper. Sometimes it's just called the printed paper. So anyway, we call it here at Stampin' Up, we call it designer series paper. So we always have a front A and B. And so most of the time, the A side of the sheet of designer series paper is thematic, and then the opposite side is something that you can use throughout the year. So here's one sheet, here's another sheet. Now I'm using both of these sheets in the today in the projects. And then here, look at this beautiful, this is like, I didn't used to like these I don't know what you call it, like shaded things, shaded or watercolor kind of paper, but I really am learning to love it. And then here's the opposite side. One of the things that drew me to this designer series paper is the beautiful black and whites that are on the B side, because they're so great in our scrapbook layouts. So here's another, oh, that's the one I already showed you. So look at this stripe. This is lovely. Can you just think of all the different cards you can make with that? And then here's the lovely black and white leaves. Those, you could color those or just leave them, the black and white. They're stunning. And then another black and white. This is the A side, the B side. And then look at this paper. Wouldn't this be great for like a baby, welcoming a baby to the family? That would just be beautiful. So, so this is the designer series paper that I used in my projects today. And you're going to see just different ways throughout this next week of how I'm using those. Sorry, I had to turn on the lights. I thought it was brighter in here than it really is. But anyway, okay, so I wanted to share those with you. And I'm using this for my scrapbook layout, and then this we're going to use on a card. So let me just put these back so we can move them. And let's go ahead and start with the first scrapbook page. Now, I love to do scrapbook page layout. So this is a 2-page layout. So this is the page that you would see on the right side, right? And so I'm going to tell you about this. There aren't pictures in here, and that's for a reason. I don't like to share, or I don't share photos of people that have not given me permission for those photos to be shown on social media. So I just go ahead and put my placeholder so I know what size and what picture goes on there. But anyway, so just getting that out of the way. But I did do this so that you would have at each corner, so the top left corner here and the bottom right corner on the second page, I did with octagon shaped dies. We have some shaped dies in our online store, and then I just used the octagon die to cut out those shapes, or hexagon, right? Why am I calling it octagon? But anyway, this reminded me of honeycomb, and so I used those and just did that. Instead of a strip of designer series paper, I went ahead and cut those out and just kind of, you know, butted up the sides, trying to make it look like a honeycomb. And I was kind of inspired by this. Well, first of all, the photos are of my granddaughter, who was about going on 18 months, I believe. And it was Halloween, and she was dressed up as a little bumblebee. So I wanted to create that bee thing, but I didn't want to make it so Halloweenish that it seemed a little bit scary, because obviously with little kids, we don't want to do that, right? But what I was inspired by with the bee, because she was dressed as a bee, I was thinking, well, what stuff do I have that's related to bees? And I remembered that I had this stamp set that came in a paper pumpkin. And so I remembered that honeycomb. I remember how it looked when you stamped it. And then I remembered that there were daisies and in the kit. And those daisies were, let me show you, I have just, this is the last sprig I have left. So I thought, whoa, that was inspiration for what I created here. And as I looked around through my dies and through my stamps, I remembered that I had a die. Now I don't know where I got these. I don't really remember. But I have a set for the bees. Now, I did have to kind of get inventive to get the yellow part on some of these bees, but I did use those dies. And then I remember also in a card kit that we had some foil, some gold foil layers that were kind of like, looked like honeycomb. And so that inspired me to do this little honeycomb thing here. So once I cut it out, when I used that die, I wanted to show you how it looked. It came out like this, right? And this is Daffodil Delight. So I did have to cut it and arrange it how I might want it for here. And then I went ahead and after layering that, I started doing those kinds of things. And then also, I wanted to do some daisies. Now, a while back we had a stamp set that did the daisies and I missed it. I was not very happy with myself, but I did miss it. So then I looked in my stamp collection and I remember having this old set of dies. Now I can't tell you where they came from. I'm thinking that they were not from my Stampin' Up collection, and I love Stampin' Up. That I use them I want to say 95% of the time. So that's where this came from, and so I just did do the daisies there just to kind of follow that theme that was inspired by the paper pumpkin. And then this is the second page that goes with that. It's kind of hard for me to get them both in frame. I'm gonna have to learn how to do that. But I did put some tags on here too. And so I did use the, let's see, I didn't use those tags, the bordered tags, but I did use it. I have a tag die, and so I did just go ahead and put these tags on the side. Now, this is going to be where I journal right here on this tag. So when I put this in the page protector, I'm going to cut my page protector so that you can pull the journaling card out and see what I've journaled, right? But I did carry on those 3 different clusters, so 1, 2, and 3. And then I just added the bee things. Now I used Canva to get my little title page and the subtitle. And I might put some wordy bits on here also. But anyway, this is ready for the photos and ready to go in the page protector. So I'm all excited about that. And I did one of the reasons that I wanted to show you this is when you get those sets from the paper pumpkin, realize that you can use them. Just store them and use them, and you'll be surprised when you find a need to bring them out. All right, and so then I am going to show you these pictures. These are scrapbook page. These are page layouts to feature my parents when they got married. So I've had a lot of these pictures for a long time. I've done a couple of spreads of this, but I'm also I have several scrapbooks going on. So I have a couple for my siblings, and I'm redoing one of my own, and then a couple of Christmas gifts that I'm creating, like some heritage photo albums for. So as I go, as I see the paper, as it strikes me as something I want to use, then I pull it out and then I put my pictures with it. So these are my parents. This is not really glued down really good because I'm hoping to be able to fix this picture. But if I don't, it's okay. And I just wanted to share with you a little bit about what inspired me and how I created it. So, you know that Canva, there's a free version of Canva. And if you have dies to do your titles, I really do prefer the dies, but sometimes I have to resort to Canva. And so I just did that on Canva. And then on our Bordered in Beauty die set, there is this very pretty little border that you can create. And it's, let's see which one. It's this one right here. No, this one right here. And it just creates that little like lacy kind of finish. And I used the new in color, which is her hydrangea hue. I'm getting so ahead of myself here. And so I did, and this is the two-toned black cardstock. So if you see, this is one shade of black, and then there's another shade. So darker, lighter. We have a lot of two-toned 12 by 12 sheets, and they're great because you can use them together and just get different looks. But then I just really went to town with that hydrangea hue, and I used an old stamp set. It's called the Lovely Arrangements, and so I just it has a die set that goes with it as well. And so I did just die cut these flowers, and it has this little insert. So these are basic beige, and this is the hydrangea hue. I will tell you that looking for a color that would be darker to like accent in the middle, I had a little bit of a hard time. So I kind of asked my family for help, and I gave them two options: a darker shade of a cardstock, and it was not the hydrangea hue, or this lighter, which is I don't know, I just pulled it out of my stash. So it was half and half. So I just put them together. So when you look closely at it, perhaps you can see that there is this lighter detail, and then if you look really closely, maybe you can see a shadow of the darker. So that's what I did that with. And then let me see, I am going to try to move my there. Is that a little bit better? There. So I am going to or so I did you know, just go ahead and do that. And the die set for those lovely arrangements also has like little buds, and it has the greenery. So that's what I did. I used a die from the Splendid something, I can't think right now. Splendid, Lovely Splendids, I think. In this, I did this out of vellum, just to kind of give it a little bit of softness there. And so then this word love is actually from that Bloom set. It actually says lovely. I just cut off the LY. And then this is also from that same dies that you cut the, or that you can die cut the word lovely. But I liked this because it also softens up all of the colors. Kind of gives it a little bit of a wedding feel. And then these are supposed to be rings with a little adhesive dot on there. This is just out of silver foil, and it's 2 circles just from, I don't even know which dies they came from. I think, oh, it was that birdhouse bundle that we had. So that's how that works there. And then these are old pearls that I've had in my stash. And then here's the second page. So the second page is very much the same, but here's that hydrangea hue. And here's where I used those Bordered in Beauty dies. As you can see, that little scalloped edge right here. And I did use like a little heart stamp, and I used the hydrangea hue ink and stamped it on this panel here just to give it a little bit of texture. I did like 2nd generation stamping. The pictures really do pretty much cover it all up. And then the I put this here now. It's not, you can see it's not tacked down very well, and that is just to remind me I have this set so that I can put an insert in here. Now my father wrote to his brother a letter asking him to be the best man. It's in his handwriting, and you know we always value handwriting from our parents, right? So that is going to stick in here underneath, and it'll have a tag to pull out so that we can always see that note. So so that's what I did here. But I think that I was pretty happy. This is the opposite side of that Beautiful Ordinary Life designer series paper. And then this is from just something in my stash. But so the designer series paper, I didn't want to use all of it on here. So I did kind of cut it just so that it had some at the top and some at the bottom. So there's those. Okay, hope you like them. I'm just not quite getting this in focus here, but there you go. And I did use, of course, I do use my Spotlight on Nature dies any chance I get. All right, so I've shared with you those 2 scrapbook pages. Now I want to show you this fun fold. It's called a pop-up easel card. So how it works is it sits up like this, and I know that's hard for you to see because you're looking down on it, but that's how it sits. And so I did spread it out a little bit, but normally it sits like this. We're going to make this today, and this is using our Crisp Cantalope. So here we go. Let's start with that. I have everything here. I have the measurements, so I'm going to put those out. If you want to screenshot them, you're more than welcome to do that. If you want to write them down, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So let's go ahead. So we're going to start with a 4 1/4, so it measures 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock. This is the new in color Crisp Cantalope, and you're going to score it. You're going to make a few scores on here. We're going to score at 1 inch, so 1 inch is right here. You're going to score at 2 inches, which is right here, and then at 6 1/2, which is right here. So let's go ahead and fold those so that we have that ready to go. You can use your bone folder to crisp those folds. And this part that folds down here is going to house your sentiments, and that is what's going to help keep it sitting up, all right? And then you're going to need a strip of the Crisp Cantalope that is 1 1/2 by 11, and you're going to score it so that it folds in half. Okay, so I'm going to put this at the side because we're going to put something right here before we start gluing that. So then you're going to need a piece of designer series paper, and this is that beautiful designer series paper that we saw in our packet. So it's this one. And so the colors here are Pool Party. Well, let me read what they are. I always kind of forget. So we have Pool Party, Daffodil Delight, Pretty Peacock, and that's Daffodil Delight, Cantaloupe, the Cantaloupe, sorry, and the Pool Party and Pretty Peacock. So those are all real festive colors. I guess my words have escaped me today. So this happens to be a 4 by 4 1/4. And so you're going to need one of those, and it's not scored. And then you're also going to need, and you don't really have, if you want to make this card, but you don't have the designer series paper, you can take your stamps and do, you know, just stamp this to make it look like, to give it a feature so that it gives it texture. So any stamp that you would want to put in here that maybe is going to coordinate with this other piece that I'm going to show you, but you can definitely do that. I would not stamp the back because I'm going to show you that in a little bit, but let's go ahead and put this on here while we're chatting, and then that way it's just one thing out of the way. I'm really trying to beat the garbage truck, so I think I'm a little nervous here, so let's go. Okay, so we're just going to adhere that right here. Just like that. I'll move my silicone mat. Whoops, I moved it, that's okay. With your multi-purpose liquid glue, you always have a little bit of time to adjust or manipulate your paper here so that you can try to get it as straight as you can. Okay, so there we are, that's done. And then we have two pieces of basic white that are the same, 4 by 4 1/4. And one of them I'm going to put back here. So this does two things. You can write a message back here, but it also helps to stabilize the back, and it hides this. So we don't need to stamp this, so I'm going to put it to the side because there's not a reason to put it on yet because we want to wait till we adhere this. But let's do some stamping. I'm just going through the things that you need. So let's see here. So here's our second piece of white that we are going to stamp on. You need a circle, or actually you could use a square, any shape you want. I did create a card. I wasn't super happy with it, and I think it's just the colors that I don't like. But I used the everyday arches to create that card. But you can definitely use whatever shape you want. You could even layer this if you wanted to, but we're going to decorate this. And then you'll need some ribbon. Now, I suggest 9 inches of ribbon, but you can definitely, I always cut more just because, well, that's just what I do. So anyway, you'll need some ribbon. This is the gold striped ribbon that was with the Christmas collection last December. So any ribbon that coordinates or enhances, you can definitely use. And then you do need a strip here of, I'm using Pretty Peacock, but this measures 2 3/4 by 1 1/4, and then you need a basic white strip where we're going to stamp our sentiment, and this measures 2 1/2 by 1. So let's go ahead and do some stamping, and then we can start putting our card together. Now you can get these measurements when this all posts to the website. So it usually does post, it'll probably be posted by tomorrow morning. But I wanted to share with you how I stamped this sentiment. So I really do like this stamp positioner, and you could stamp this with just a regular block if you wanted to. You definitely could do that. Why not, right? So I'm using the thank you from a stamp set. Let me see, that is from the Lovely Arrangements stamp set. I'm going to secure this little strip here, and then I'm going to put my sentiment right there, and then on goes the stamp to the positioner. Now, these, I know that some of you have Misty, so you could definitely do this on your Misty as well. And then you can stamp in whatever color you'd like. I'm going to use the Pretty Peacock. And what I like about this positioner is that I can really see what I'm doing with it. Well, of course you can with the blocks too. But this, if I have to stamp it again the second time, then I can. And I'm grabbing my chamois just because I want to make sure I don't get that extra ink that I got on there. And I also have an opportunity before I stamp to make sure that that stamp is straight on my little sentiment strip here. I didn't like where maybe it had shifted a little bit, so now I like it. So then I'm just going to press that down, and there I go. There's my sentiment. Okay, while we're stamping, let's do some more. So this is going to be the inside of our card. So let me get that ready here. I am going to move that clear up here. And let me clean this off and get this stamp off here. My chamois, I know, look, you're probably saying, wow, that's dirty. It is. It's not dirty, it's clean, but it is well loved. So that it definitely is. So this is one of the stamps I have out, but that is like way too big. So let's get a smaller stamp. Let's get one from that Lovely Arrangements, because I want to do a stamp in the inside that will kind of coordinate with the ones on the outside. So let's see here. Let's see if this works. You know what? I'm going to place it right here because I really do want a smaller one. Well, this will work. Or, you know what else we could do is that'll work. Let's just do that. So I'm going to, now what I did with mine on the card is I just took some little dots or something that I had in one of my stamp sets, and that's how that worked. So you can do that, or you can do a flower. So I'm going to stamp that in our new hybrid black. I'm still getting used to this. I was scared to open it. So you're supposed to open it like a book. And I've already got ink all over my hand, so it probably doesn't matter at this point. We'll put that back. And let's go ahead and stamp this. And so some of it is going to be off of the strip, and that's okay with me. That's how I wanted it. So we're going to go ahead and clean this. And I also have a strip of white that came from my scrap bin. And the reason that it came from my scrap bin is because I'm getting a new one because that was like photo paper I had. Because I'm going to show you how I got the flowers. Now I've already done the flowers, so you won't need to, you know, so it won't take us so long to finish here. So I'm going to do both of these. Now you'd need a longer strip, but I'm just going to show you this. Upside down, sorry. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and ink it up again with our hybrid ink. I did 4 of these, just so you know. And while I'm doing this, I did want to just share, this is why it's so great to have product that you can choose from, because you can mix and match. So even though the featured product is the Beautiful Ordinary Life, and this would be the stamp set and the dies that come in that bundle, but I can use whatever I want to get the desired end product, right? Okay, so those are stamped, and you can see that's not very good, so let's do it again. One of the things that I found with this new hybrid ink is that it seems like it's a little, and it might be me, and I'm having a hard time opening it. And that's me as well. It does seem like I don't get enough ink on here as I would ordinarily get with my Memento Black, or maybe my Memento Black, since it's jet black, it really is darker. All right, so we're going to go ahead and try this again. Hopefully, I don't need it too dark. I just need to be able to see the lines. So there we go. We can definitely see those lines, and that was a user error. I'm going to take this off now, put up my stamp positioner, and then what I want to do, or the end desire here, is to get flowers like this. Now I've already done that, and I fussy cut them out because I didn't want you to have to watch the whole thing, you know, over and over. So here's what we can do, and that is I'm going to show you one or two maybe how I colored them, because I wanted the Crisp Cantalope and I wanted Daffodil Delight, but I also wanted those dark outlines there. So, you know, after you stamp it like this, then you can take your blending brushes. Let me grab mine. And your inks. Okay, so these are the new ink pads, and they're going to be phased in. So soon all of our ink pads will look similar to this. So anyway, it'll take a while, obviously, but then all the new ink colors are on this fashion of ink pad. All right, so I'm taking, this is my Crisp Cantalope and my blending brush, and I'm starting off of the page because I don't want to glob on there. And I'm just going to gently blend ink on there. Now, obviously, the more ink you put on there, the darker it's going to be, right? And you could take your alcohol blenders and you could go up and down these lines, and that would be like shading it. So there is that color. Now let's do the Daffodil Delight just for demonstration purposes. And I'm having trouble today here. Okay, so this is going to be the Daffodil Delight. And we're just going to color that up. All right, and then you could fussy cut them, right? So you could definitely do that. I'm not gonna, I already have that done, so you're not gonna have to watch me do that. That kind of seems redundant. But I do want to go ahead and ink this up because this is gonna be inside, and then you could put whatever message you want inside. But let me color that. So we can make our card. And again, you're going to start on the side. And it's okay if you go out of the lines of the flower, because this is meant to look like a blend. And then we'll put up our ink. So there we go. And then you would just, you don't need to fussy cut this because we want it there. So now we're going to stamp our message. And I thought we could just stick to what we already have going, and so the outside is going to say thank you, and I thought the inside could say so very much. So we're going to take it from the Lovely Arrangements stamp set, and we're going to do our positioner again. So here I come with that. Let's take these off. Obviously, we don't need them on there. And we'll get our paper going. So, let's see here. I really do like these magnets. The other magnets seem to kind of scare me a little bit. Let's see, you are the best. So this says you are, or no, it says so very much. So we're going to say, thank you so very much. And it's sticking to my fingers, and I wanted to get it straight. So, okay, I think that's straight. It's hard to see when you're, when you have a camera. All right, so let's go ahead. I am going to use that peacock again, pretty peacock. I have it all over my hands. Might as well get it on that card. Okay, so here we go. And because I am going to be stamping on that whole card, I'm going to make sure that there's no extra ink laying around to possibly get on the card. Although, you know what, this doesn't, with your stamp there, it doesn't touch that window, so you're usually good about that, but I just don't want to take a chance here. So, see, I have it upside down. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this over because I have it upside down. I obviously didn't look very good. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. Now I moved that paper, so I'm just checking. Okay. Here we go again. You know, sometimes we just have to keep on when we're crafting, right? Not everything goes perfect the first time. All right. Second time should be a charm. Oh, I've got it upside down. What a scatterbrain. Okay. So there we go. So very much. Thank you so very much is what this is going to say. So let's go ahead and put that up. I think we're ready to assemble here. So let's go ahead and start with this base. Now we're going to take some of our multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm going to get out that silicone mat because I don't want to get glue all over my surface here. So here we go with that. So I'm just going to put a little bit down here, and that is going to fit, it's going to fit flush right here. So I like to put it on my grid paper right here because I want to make sure I'm getting it in the middle. And then we're going to make it flush. Whoops, see, it moved on me. So, and then we're going to glue it back here. So we'll put glue on this again. You could put glue all the way up there if you wanted to, but there's no need. So here we go with that. All right, so that is what's going to keep your easel up. So that's like the easel thing, right? All right, now I'm going to take that one piece of white that we had, and I'm just going to go ahead and adhere it right here. And the reason for that is because I'm just going to cover that up. You don't have to do it, and on this card I didn't. So it's really up to you if you want to. But let's go ahead and do it today for the video sake. All right, so we're going to get that down. Let's see here. Oh, I had it right in the first place. So when you lay it like this and this is lifting up, it could be like an optical illusion. So I'm just doing that so I can get this down, and then there we go. So there we have that. Now let's go ahead and fix the inside or the outside here. Let's go ahead and put these together on here. I'm going to glue the thank you onto the peacock, and then I'm going to use dimensionals to attach it. Excuse me. It's been one of those weeks here. The weather has been so good, and I've been outside. I'm just like kind of... Okay, we're going to put that right there. Let's use some dimensionals. let's see here. Okay. And now we'll just give it a little bit of dimension, and just kind of, we'll put that sentiment right out there. So we're just going to go ahead and put it right here. Try to get it in the middle as best you can. All right, so now we have this. Let's secure our folds again. Okay, now let's do the inside here, and this goes right in here. So let's go ahead and get that done. And try to get an equal margin all the way around. Okay, and then we're going to decorate. I just keep reinforcing because I haven't really been doing that. So there we go. Let's decorate this circle, because this circle is going to fit right here. Now, here are the flowers that I had already colored and cut out. So we're going to use one of the pinks. Now, these do have the alcohol markers, so you can see where I did go up those black lines. I call those cheat lines. It just helps to give it a little more definition. So we're going to use that. And something I just thought, I don't think that, oh well, we'll work on it. I just don't think I did the leaves, but I'll show you how I made those leaves. Maybe that's a good thing. Okay, so I put just a note on mine, but you don't really need to, because this is going to be the decorative part. And I want to put a dimensional on here. And another thing I try not to do is put the glue on the flowers all the way, because I'm going to want to put some leaves. So this is going to go like this. And then we're going to put this up here. I am going to glue that one down. And then this very last one that's going to go under here. Okay, let's see here. Like that. Now let me see if I did, no I didn't. So we are going to get some leaves. So 1 second while I grab. I'm going to use this punch for my leaves, and I'm knocking everything down. I'm going to use this punch for my leaves, and we're going to use some Pretty Peacock. And the reason that I'm doing Pretty Peacock, because I do know that most of the time leaves are not this color, but I'm using the Pretty Peacock because it coordinates. So let's go ahead and just cut. I'm just going to cut a strip like this, because we're going to stick it in the back of our punch. So I don't want to waste a lot of the pecan with the other designs there. And it looks like I didn't beat my garbage truck, and I'm sorry. I try to pick a day to do my lives that is best, but I can't control the world around me. Okay, so let's just do a couple more. So this is why I like to collect things, and I like to use things that are in my stash, because that just makes them worth the investment, right? And it allows you to be inventive. So if you just have one, like one stamp set, or you just have one line of products, like one stamp set or one bundle, then sometimes you just work with that. But if you can invest, and usually what I say to my to people that are starting out is get you some nice like circle dies or nested. We have some great nested dies that have different shapes, and that way you can use them whenever you want, for whatever kind of layout you want, and you have options. And I can't say enough, and I know sometimes people think, well, there she goes again, but you know, those paper pumpkins and kits are really a great thing, because you can use those pieces over and over again. Plus, you get to make whatever the product that's in the kit, right? Okay, so there we go. We're just putting some greenery just around here, wherever you want. It's totally up to you. I probably should have laid these on my silicone mat and just put a bunch of glue on it, but... Okay, so there we go. So there's our circle, and then we want to put that ribbon on there, right? So let's we'll lay it like this, and I'm going to start, let's see, I want to see which way is, there we go. I'm going to start right here, and I'm just going to put a dimensional, actually I'm going to put a little bit of tear tape, just so that I can secure down that ribbon, so it doesn't move around on me when I'm trying to loop it. Okay. So just like this, you could use household tape. So if you have some household tape, then, you know, definitely you can use that too, right? Okay, and we're just going to... This is too long, I know that. So I'm going to cut it, but let's get it looped. And I'm going to put a dimensional right here. Okay, and a dimensional right there. That just keeps the ribbon a little secured there. Okay, now this is going to go right here on this panel right here. So we're going to put some more dimensionals, and I'm going to take off the release tape on these. Maybe. I have a little bit of adhesive on my fingers and it's not wanting to. Okay, what a day, right? What a day. Okay, and then I'm just going to take these dimensionals and I just kind of want to place them up and down here, because that's where the, what they say, that's where the rubber meets the pavement kind of thing. All right, let's see here. This one keeps coming out. I don't... Okay. let's go ahead and take off the adhesive on these dimensionals. And I feel like I want to keep them down so that they don't come off. I should have maybe taken that adhesive off where I put them down, maybe, huh? I don't know. Okay. Here we go. So the lesson for you to learn is if you have adhesive on your fingers, stop and go get that off, because it'll make your life much easier. And I'm going to put this back on, or attempt to. Let's see here. Ooh. Woo. Let's see, we're going to put this right here. And that is going to go right like that. And I do need to clean my hands. I have a lot of sticky on there. In case you're wondering, the hand sanitizer is a good way to clean off those hands. All right, so there we go. Now we can put some decorative dots on there. So these are the adhesives that come with the kit. The Beautiful Ordinary set. So we could use those. I also used, because I love them, I also used the brushed butterflies on the opposite one, but we can definitely use these right here, or we could use some of the in colors, because that's Crisp Cantalope too. So it's whatever we want. I'm thinking that these are the in colors. I'm thinking that I like these, so let's just use these. So, but I'm also trying to give you a lot of options for things that you can do on your cards. So there's that. You could change it up and do another color. Let's see, where did I put them? So I'm mostly putting these dots on here on the circle, but you could definitely put some right here too. Okay, let's see, what happened to my little dot? I think I just pulled it off. So let's put this right here. Okay. All right, so I think we're through with that. Let me put these all away and kind of clean up here. It's hard to work when you have a little bit of a mess going, right? Okay, so we made this fun fold card. This is called a pop-up easel card. And because it pops up, it fits in a medium envelope. And you can decorate the envelope with those flowers too if you want. So you see two different flowers. You see these that were kind of lighter with the alcohol markers, and you see these with just the ink. But these blenders are great to transfer ink to images, so you want to think about that. Also, when I was doing this card, I like to sometimes, I've been doing this lately because I want to use up product that I've had around for a while. I did originally want to use some little brads there. And so if you look at this die right here, this one right here. So it's this die right here. That's what made this a sentiment. And then I just put a sentiment from something else. But that's what made this sentiment strip. And I was going to put those pool party brads there that I've had for a while. They were like little flower brads. But when I would fan out the brads, they kind of would show here. So that's kind of strange because most brads you can fold either way and it doesn't matter. But these brads had such long arms that they did show. And so that's just why I put those dots there. But you could just change this up with any colors you want. You could change them up. So let's look at the things that I've shared with you today, and hopefully you'll be inspired to create. Now, when you're creating, it does take a bit to plan, right? So if you're thinking everything is perfect, and sometimes we see, some of us creators sometimes can have real smooth times creating for you, but sometimes things go wrong, and that's what crafting is all about, is just using what we have, and even if that includes mistakes. So 2 different kind of styles using the same designer series paper, using older product here for the images, using the stamp positioner to get your sentiments right where you want them, and then using the new in color cardstock to create panels behind pictures, and also with the dies to create our ephemera. So I do know that the basic beige is not new, but the hydrangea hue is. And so we can be very inventive that way. And also using a lot of old product, we can create something attractive out of the things that maybe are not as new. So there we go. Now I hope that you were inspired to create, and I would like to know in the comment section below, out of all of the new in colors, which is your favorite? Do you like the hydrangea hue? Do you like the crisp cantaloupe, the golden glow? Which one of those do you like? Do you like the barely blush, or the peaceful pines? So have a good week, and don't forget to let me know what you like best as far as the new in colors. And thank you so much for stopping by. Have a good day.